Hello, hello. And so starts the usual part where I try to find out if you can hear me talking. Dun, dun, dun. Good morning, Corey. Are you there? Let's see. Testing 1, 2, 3. Can anybody hear me? Nope, maybe so. Let me head to my channel. Morning. Oh, it looks like you could hear me. Excellent. Paul J. Quack. Good morning. Okay, so let's start this off. What did you play over the weekend? Because I played Court of Miracles. I played Dune Imperium. I played Unicorn Fever again. It's absolutely bizarre how that game is amusingly fun. I played, let's see, what did we play? I played Under Falling Skies, Sprawlopolis, some other games that I can't recall offhand. I don't remember everything we played. I usually record my app after the weekend and go through it all, but I still haven't played it. I still haven't recorded it all. Court of Miracles was pretty intriguing, actually. It's a little game from Lucky Duck Games, pretty solid. That is a light area control in around 40 minutes or so and is enjoyable. I'm intrigued enough to continue playing it. We'll see. I also played Mutants by Lucky Duck Games as well. And Mutants was actually, oh my gosh, the review for that is going to be fun. I will not give away stuff, but I'm going to be reviewing that with Rena, so we'll see how it goes. But I need to get a few more plays in. We only played it once so far, but I'm very intrigued to see how that plays out. Okay, so I'm going to start going through the chat. Tell me what you played, ask any questions, whatever's going on. Absolutely anything, as usual. Anything you want at all about any Kickstarters, any games, anything, whatever it is. And so starting with Eric Matthew. Good morning, Alex. Have you backed Dice Stone Adventures and have you received your pledge yet played? I did not back Dice Stone Adventures. It's one of my few Kickstarter regrets. It's one of the games that I was trying to display self-control. And so I chose not to back it. And now I kind of want it because it's Dice Stone but cooperative. Now I always was planning on eventually picking it up and giving it a shot, which I still will, but I do regret not actually backing the Kickstarter. So we'll see how that goes. From Corey Christensen, Canvas Chronicles of Crime probably play 7th Continent today. So Canvas is another Kickstarter regret, sort of. What I mean by that is I said at the time, and I stand by it, that I thought it was a bit overpriced compared to what you will be able to get at retail, but the game itself looked intriguing. And so I didn't back it because I'll just get it later, and that's okay with me. I'm totally fine with that. But then people started showing pictures, and Rena really wants to get the game. So now I should have gotten the game. I'm gonna start showing Rena all the games I pass on that might be interesting to her, because Canvas, she really wants to play it. I think it's been getting pretty decent reviews so far, and it's a light little accessible card game with pretty art and everything else, and it's intriguing. Someone gave a comment on one of my videos with Rena recently about how they appreciate how Rena goes from cute fluffy bunnies to I want to murder you and rip out your throat with my werewolf. Like, those literally are her two dynamics in board games. And so Canvas falls into the cute fluffy bunny categories, but I'm intrigued with that one. Bloodstone, by the way, Bloodstone's going to fall under the murdering werewolf, ripping your throat out kind of thing. So but all categories being checked there. But yeah, Canvas, I passed on that one. Chronicles of Crime 1400. Chronicles of Crime is going to be another one that I passed on. Not self-control wise this time. This is going to be another Lucky Duck games. A lot of Lucky Duck games being talked about already today. And Lucky Duck Chronicles of Crime is going to be one that I played the original. I liked it, but I also eventually got rid of it because I had too many experiences in the game where I just got rid of it because, I had too many experiences in the game where I ended up going on this, like, putting my phone at the QR codes, going around and around, just clicking back and forth, and finding it less satisfying and more grindy guesswork. The game gets a lot of love. The system gets a lot of love. I have enjoyed many games playing Chronicles of Crime, but not consistently enough. Too many of the games that I've played of Chronicles of Crime had just point and click again and again until I got bored of it. And so eventually Chronicles of Crime I moved on from, unfortunately. And that is going to be my thing with Chronicles. And 7th Continent, you know how I feel about 7th Continent. I basically love 7th Continent. I think it's an excellent experience anyone should try, or everyone should try. It's very unique in the board game space. And I think 7th Citadel did it better, which is why I eventually got rid of my 7th Continent, but solid game. Yogi Bear, Blood Rage Digital, Sylveon, Maracaibo, 51st State. Blood Rage Digital, haven't played the digital version. I love Blood Rage, one of my favorite games. Sylveon is on my shelf. Let me see if I can pull this out without actually knocking everything over. We have Sylveon over here, which is a great game. I think it's my second favorite in the Oniverse. My favorite is going to be Cassian, but Sylveon really has a lot of potential. I really enjoy the tower defense deck building aspect of it, especially as you advance in the different tiers that the game gives you in terms of each Oniverse game gives you 3 different tiers. It gives you a basic intro mode, a more middle road, and then a third level. And so I really enjoy, well, ones that I've played. I enjoy all of them. I haven't played up to the third level in all, but Sylveon I have, and it's my second favorite. That's going to be Sylveon. Then Maracaibo, which is on my shelf unplayed. I need to get to the table. And finally, 51st State, which I have. I played the original 51st State, and I loved it. And so I eventually got rid of it over time, but I really enjoyed it while I had it. And so I got back 51st State Master Set, which is on my shelf, as well as Imperial Settlers Empires of the North, which is on my shelf. Imperial Settlers, I did not love as much as 51st State. So we'll see which one of the 51st State or Imperials of the North, which one makes in my collection, if either or both. We'll see how that plays out. I believe it was Tom Vassel's Top 100. I believe it was Z Garcia's favorite game of all time, if I recall correctly. And I mean, that pulls me in. I liked the original, so I definitely want to see how it ends up in my collection. We have Eric Matteo. I played 3 Gloomhaven scenarios solo. Nice. I need to play Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion. Big box Gloomhaven just is not hitting the table, but Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion may well hit the table, so we'll see how that plays out. Paul J, thoughts on Radlands? Radlands is an interesting one. So Radlands is one that makes me want to put out a video that is literally the talking about the concept of game production, because Radlands is the most expensive deck of 97 cards you will ever buy at $40 or potentially $70 if you get the playmats or whatever. That's a lot of money for what is 97 cards or something like that. I don't know if it's 97 exactly, but it's certainly not a big number of cards, and that's a lot of money. But also it's Roxley, and it's overproduced, and it's pretty, and they have cards that can bend. I don't know who's bending their cards, but I don't know who's actually going to sit there and bend the card, try to make it bend. But hey, maybe it holds its shape better. Plus they have deluxified tokens. Plus they have a magnetic box. All of those things coalesce to try to bring up the cost of goods, which brings up the multiplier of a game. You can't sell 97 cards for $40. You have to sell a bunch of other stuff with those in order to sell it for sell for $40. And the reason they're doing that is because there's always a finite number of people who can buy a game. You can't just sit there and say, well, we'll make this deck of cards, sell it for $10, and then 30,000 people will buy it. They can't do that. That's not how it works. There's designers' time, there's infrastructure, there's all these different things. They have to make a certain amount of money back on the game. And the problem is when you have a game that does that, it might be the best game ever, but has a very small component footprint. And so they have to take that into account when factoring in their multiplier of how much they're going to sell the game for, how much profit they make per game. There has to be a certain barrier. To give you an idea, a big box heavy miniatures game that might cost the company $30 to produce and they sell for $70, you're making $40 per SKU, even though you're selling it at just over a 2 times multiplier. And you're still making $40. Versus if you sell a copy of Radlands and it costs you $3 to make and you sell it for $15, that might be a 5 times multiplier, but you're still only making $12 compared to the $40 per sale. So these things are all factored into the conversation of how to price things out, which makes ultimately Radlands the most overproduced 97 cards you will ever buy, but it might be a great game. It might be a game that knocks it out of the park. So the question is always going to be, is the game good, and will the retail market support the price? And it's a tricky conversation when you have something that is that premium and that expensive at the same time. Eric Matteo, what is that self-control you talked about? Self-control is a rare occurrence on this channel. It shows up. I appreciate the self-control aspect when it rears its head, but I often regret it after the fact anyway. So that's basically it. Let's see. Corey Christensen. I played Canvas with my 3-year-old. She couldn't grasp the gameplay much, but she loved being able to select cards to create paintings. So I love games that give you that. There are many games. Indigo is a great game that I play with my kids, and some of us are playing it to win, and others are just placing down tiles to move the little marbles around, which is part of the game. Games that allow people to be involved on multiple levels, I think, are an asset to being able to be fun for the adult and to bring kids into the hobby. And so I think it's fine. Baron Park's another one. My 5-year-old, when he plays Baron Park, he's not playing to win. He's playing to put beers on the board. And so those are all just part of the conversation. But games that play on those multiple levels, I appreciate. Benjamin Hell, Quack. Quack indeed, sir. Elegance Films, Bloodborne the board game. After so much criticism on Command, the game has to arrive and receive some really good feedback. Currently #1 hot on Board Game Geek. Have you received your pledge? So it's funny you say that, because I was just involved in a Discord channel talking about bashing the game, and I pointed out that there are both. If you look at the reviews on Board Game Geek, the reviews are all like 5, 6, 9, 10. It's not like 7 and 8. It's like 5, 6, 9, 10. Meaning there are people who believe it's perfectly average, and then there are people who believe it's amazing and awesome. It's getting both critical praise and critical feedback, or whatever it is, and the miniatures as well. Miniatures, I'm seeing a lot of pictures of the miniatures in terms of the way they look or whatever, in terms of the mold lines and the quality. And it does seem to be a step back for Command in the production quality. I did receive my pledge of Bloodborne. It is going straight out the door. I'll be talking about this week in my Games Leaving the Collection January video. But effectively, what's going on there is that I played it online, TTS, And while I enjoyed the game to an extent, it was ultimately too reminiscent of the video game. It was not the kind of style game I want to play. They did a good job implementing the video game. It's more about the missions. It's more about the running around and trying to avoid combat or be incredibly tactical. It's not just hacking and slashing and feeling awesome and powerful, which is what I want in a game. And so basically that is it there. So Bloodborne is leaving the collection, but I think it will be a great game for some. For me, it was a 5 or 6, but I completely believe it will be a 9 or 10 for others. Okay, Sakabra. Wife and I recently started Jaws of the Lion. We skipped one thing. We skipped a few questions. 1 second. Okay, Corey Christensen. Oh, I'm totally getting rid of Chronicles of Crime. Cool. So I'm curious if it was the same reason as myself or whatever was the reason. I don't know. Let me know. Paul J. Same. The app being essential to the game upsets me. So this is one of the few games. Chronicles of Crime is one of the few games where the app being essential to the game did not bother me. Rather, the point and click again and again and again with feeling like you're guessing instead of strategizing, that bothered me. But it's one of the few app-based games that the app was not the problem. Yogi Bear. Master set is good. 51st State Master set. Awesome. Good to know. Getting to level 121. How is Mutants? Mutants was surprisingly good, by the way. Mutants was one that both the people I played with, both the people that I brought the game out to and taught it to, like literally were giving me these death glares of, we are only playing this game to appease you. We have no interest in the thing you are teaching us. And both of them got pulled in as we played. Both of them really enjoyed. Like, we'll talk about it when I do the review with my wife, but she was not having any of it until she just promptly started destroying us and won the game. Okay, let's see. Corey Christensen, Paul J. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of app games. Integrations are fine, but requirements don't sit well with me. Yep, I agree. Sakabra, wife and I recently started Jaws of the Lion, having Gloomhaven sit on the shelf for the last few years, got through X encounters and finally started Gloomhaven 1 and 2. Thanks, Lockdown. Yeah, so I'm wondering, Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion will either be, I'm not even finishing that, or I'm finishing that, but I don't feel the need to play Gloomhaven, or I'm finishing that, this is awesome, I really need to go back to Gloomhaven. I'm not sure which category it'll be. Yogi Bear, yes, I think you would knock out Jaws of the Lion in a couple of days, Alex. No, I don't play that style of game, I don't play that fast, but we'll see. Corey Christensen, you backing anything this week? Let's see, I am backing Carnegie. Let me pull up my Kickstarter page. I'm backing Carnegie, I know that. I just did a review on that on Saturday. I played that one and so was intrigued. I am probably backing Ping Yao. I'm still having a hard time with the price and whether I'm interested or not, but I'm probably backing Ping Yao. Then from there, I know that I have Primal, obviously. And then things coming up. We have a bunch of things coming up this week. Let's see. The 26th, the 31st, we have Force of Radgos. We have Core Quest. Ooh, Core Quest I'm getting. We have King's Fall, Utaki, Cult of the Deep, Posthumous Saga. So a bunch here that I'm not yet sure, but I'm definitely backing some things. Not a ton. I mean, having 3 active pledges in a week is certainly not bad. Okay. Let me see over here. Okay, we have you tried DF? Have you tried or have you heard of Vorpalborg? Played with my family last night and they loved it. Not perfect, but a solid first impression. Heard about it from King of Average. I've heard about Vorpalborg. Those kinds of things to me feel like more work than just hopping on, I don't know, Yukata, Board Game Arena, Tabletop Simulator. So they might be excellent. They might be amazing. They don't intrigue me at all. Benjamin Tuasan, how many hours or numbers of games do you play in a normal week? I could pull up my stats and find that number. I play roughly 2 games a day on average. Now, it's not every single day. It's on the weekend, I'll get in like 10 games. And then throughout the week, I'll get in like 5 or 6 games. And so it works out to between 14 to 18 games a week on average. Like last year, I hit over 800. I think I hit like 850 games last year. And this year, I set a goal of 700, expecting to hit above that. Content creation has made me play more because I'm constantly hitting a schedule. More often during the week, I'm getting on TTS with the publisher, playing a game. And sometimes I just need to knock out a few games because I need to play a game 2 or 3 more times before I do a review. And so there's a pressure. So I'm playing more. I would assume I'll hit 900 or 1,000 games in 2021, but we'll see how it actually plays out. Lord Seiler, you said you prefer really like the board of Primal without the moving back and forth. Out of curiosity and for clarity, what Monster Hunter style games are you comparing this to? So I'm not comparing it to Monster Hunter style games. I'm comparing it to skirmish games in general. I find skirmish games in general need something to drive you forward, or it ends up feeling like you're just closing the gap most of the time. And I'm saying this with the acknowledgement that I'll have 14 people who say, but you're missing the tactical depth of insert game name here. Very possibly. But for myself, I like games that give you an objective. Games like Rum and Bones is going to be a good example there. Super Fantasy Brawl is going to give you objectives. I like games that give you objectives, or in the case of Primal, games that keep the movement very localized so I don't feel like I'm just closing the distance, and that's the main point the board serves. Again, King of Death Monsters will rip me apart here and say, no, there's so much depth. I could be. I haven't played that one. I'm just referring to my experience with skirmish games in general. Akiva Posen, any good unicorn games? Unicorn Fever, I recommend that one. I just mentioned that one actually. It's a lighter game. It's definitely on the lighter side, but it's fun, good moments and whatnot. I find it thoroughly enjoyable. Eric Matteo, what is the Kickstarter game you're most looking forward to in February, scheduled to launch in February? Likely offhand is going to be Kingdom Rush Elemental Uprising. I have to look through my full February list to see what's for sure, but I would say offhand and instinctively, that is going to be the first one. Lord Styler, I can't imagine a game like KDM on a board like Primal. It would really limit the combat encounters and would be a far less interesting game, in my opinion. I completely understand and believe that, but I haven't played Kingdom Death. But the tactical grid thing historically hasn't really sold me. Unless there's objectives in the game, I have not been pulled in by a tactical grid. Even Townsfolk Tussle, which I liked, I still found the tactical board less interesting than the board in Primal. So it might be a personal preference thing. That's totally fine. Okay. Paul J, Unstable Unicorns. Yes, thank you. JR Panama, hi from France. Hello, JR Panama. Corey Christensen, Akiva Posen, he'll probably recommend Unicorn Fever. Review came out yesterday. So, Corey, fun fact, Akiva is really just trolling the chat. Akiva played Unicorn Fever with me Friday night. So, he's really just trolling the chat because he thinks it's amusing and it gives him giggles. So, everyone recommending Unicorn Fever, including myself, are just, engaging with them. Paul B, do you think the quality of Command is starting to become a concern to almost wait until it comes out and see what to deliver first? Paul, yes and no. The yes part's pretty simple. Bloodborne just came out and the miniature quality is a step down from their usual. That being said, Marvel United, which came out recently, was a step above the usual. So I think a single game is a little bit too early to cry, oh no, the world's falling apart. But am I a little bit concerned about the sheer amount of pledges I have from CMON? Absolutely. If they all go a step down, that's a lot of games I'm excited about that will have miniature quality that is not as good as it used to be. So I'm concerned, but I'm not going to stop backing their games because of one game that had mold lines that were a little problematic. You want to keep an eye on the general trend, and CMON in general is usually a step above many other companies, although lots of companies are catching up. Mythic Games getting better and better all the time. Mythic Games is actually already solid. I shouldn't say better and better. Mythic Games is already solid. Awakened Realms has gotten better over the years, and they're getting significantly better, so it's always a balance. Okay. George Gutierrez, just curious, you speak a bit of moving on from games. Can you explain how you go about selling your games, the steps you take? Okay, I'll try to keep this relatively condensed, but the short version is once I'm ready to move on from a game, expensive games I list on Board Game. I list on Board Game Revolution generally, or the buy and sell group. I mean, I go to Facebook groups and list expensive games there first. Generally, if you can get a bite there, then you're selling it with minimal hassle and not having to pay any fees to anyone. So that's usually my first step for expensive games. For cheaper games, it's not worth it. The $3 fee I'll say by saying it's selling it on Board Game Geek, selling it or whatever is not worth it. So for a $30 game, I just go straight to a source. Now, in my case, I do have a benefit in the sense that I run BoardGameCo, which we buy and sell used games. So for smaller, cheaper games, I send them directly to BoardGameCo. Expensive games, I still sell directly myself on Facebook or eBay or wherever. But for yourself, I would recommend either Board Game Geek Marketplace, eBay, or Facebook groups, or possibly selling to BoardGameCo or NobleNet Games. Although factor in if you're selling it to a reseller, you're going to get less money. It'll be far easier, far less hassle. You send a quote, you send your games in, you get a quote, you say yes or no, move on with life. Versus selling it individually usually is a lot more work, a lot more hassle, but you'll get a lot more money back for your games. Ultimately, something I need to put out a video on this in general, but I talk casually about buying and selling. It is work. It is certainly a process. I don't think it's more work than watching a playthrough of a game before deciding, genuinely. If my choices are watching a playthrough to see if a game is for me versus just getting it, playing it, and then moving on from it, I know which one's more work for me, and watching a playthrough is more work. And so I choose where to put the work in. Everyone will have to make that choice for themselves. Roy Kennedy, Alex in the house. Hey, Roy. Okay, so Roy, by the way, shout out to Last Light. Last Light is an amazing Euro game coming on Kickstarter soon, or sometime in 2021. It's not actually a Euro game, I'm trolling. Last Light is going to be a 4x real-time, not real-time, 4x symmetric, I think it's called symmetric play. No, there's simultaneous. There we go. 4x simultaneous play where you basically choose your cards all at once and then choose the action. We got a full game of it done in an hour and a half on TTS for our first game, which is insanely impressive. And it was rewarding at the same time. It is not going to give you the feeling of TI4 or any or Clips or any huge 4x game, but it was a really, really solid, fun experience in 90 minutes, which was pretty impressive. Akiva Posen, thanks, Corey Christensen. Akiva thanking the person, he's a troll. Andrew Good, once the Jaws of the Lion style book comes up for OG Gloomhaven, I'll be playing Gloomhaven so much more. I did not know they were doing that. They're putting out a Jaws of the Lion style book for Gloomhaven. Maybe I knew that and forgot because now that you're saying that, I vaguely recall that. Ciso Palomero, are you backing Human Punishment at the beginning? I was originally backing after hearing like Battlestar Galactica, but just canceled because I feel there's not enough info on it. I'm probably not backing it. I haven't done a full deep dive into it yet. I plan on doing so today, but I'm probably not backing it just because it's the kind of game that's going to be harder to see play at my table these days. That being said, I might get pulled in. Very often I look into a game a little more and do get pulled in. But it's not, to me, it's not a lack of information. There's actually a bunch of videos out there in terms of the game itself, lots of coverage of the game. You can definitely check it out more. It seems to be pretty impressive, all things considered, but it's just not as much the kind of game that I would regularly get to the table. I am usually wary of anything to do with hidden roles in longer games. I prefer hidden role in shorter games. Kles, hi Alex, hope you have a nice day. You too, Kles. I hope so as well. Corey Christensen, Roy Canada, how you doing? I tuned in last night just in time for the pie. There was pie last night? I popped in while they were playing or something. They were playing some game last night. I popped into the Dice Towers after party for the Kickstarter. I did not see pie. I would have stuck around longer if there was pie. Roy Canada, stoked for CoreQuest. Really want to support Cora and Dan. Oh my gosh, CoreQuest is excellent. It's great. And Roy, you have kids, right? I'm pretty sure you have kids. It's a great game for kids. We've played it with as young as 4. I've seen Rolling Solo, I believe it was. It might have been a different channel. Someone else said that they played it with as young as 4. So I played as young as 5. They played as young as 4. It's accessible. It's an accessible dungeon crawler. CoreQuest really hits it out of the park. Okay, Eddie Coulter. I enjoy Kingdom Rush very much, which I know you do as well. Is it safe to say you'll likely be backing the Kingdom Rush Elemental Uprising? I'm 100% backing it. I have the prototype. Is it behind me on the shelf? Yeah, it's on top of that stack over there. You can see at the very top there. That's the prototype. I'll be doing a video on it. But effectively, I believe that Kingdom Rush Core, and it's a standalone game. It's not an expansion. But it's a standalone game with new heroes, new towers, new everything. I believe Kingdom Rush Core is a better intro experience. But I believe Kingdom Rush Elemental Uprising has different facets of the game that I prefer. So for myself, I want both because I prefer aspects like Elemental Uprising has events instead of portals, which I much prefer. The heroes are much more engaging. The towers, I would say I like both. They're different towers. I like them both. But I think Kingdom Rush has a little bit more, I think it's a little bit more streamlined in a sense. Although the flip side is the difficulty level. I know that they're more balancing the difficulty level in the second one in Elemental Uprising to be more approachable because the first one had people saying it was too hard and people saying it was too easy. So it's a tough one. But I would recommend Kingdom Rush the original if you haven't gotten either. But I do recommend Elemental Uprising as well, and I'll be getting that one. Board Games with Nearmass. Hey, Alex in chat. Hey, Board Games with Nearmass. How's it going? Okay, Ori, good evening from Tokyo. Was curious if you have played many Japanese games and which ones you like. I don't think I have. Many of those smaller box games, like I know the Oink series, I believe. I haven't played a lot. I don't know if I've played any. I've had a Fake Artist Goes to New York. I haven't actually played it, so I don't believe I have. Okay, Reimer. How do you choose which games are going to the table on a given day or week? Do you put them on a schedule? Ooh, good question. It's going to be a combination of trying to balance my own personal interest in a game, plus, of course, publisher commitments. If a publisher sent me a game to review, I do try to prioritize. So, for instance, both Mutants and Court of Miracles are games that Lucky Duck sent me that I wanted to get to the table, and I've had them. I had Court of Miracles for a few weeks. Mutants just arrived. But I am both interested in them and the publisher sent it to me. Versus there are games myself that I'm interested in, but I don't have a commitment to get to. So those tend to be a little bit lower down. That being said, lower down does not mean they don't get played. It just means that I have to find the right situation. Also, it's a balance of the players at the table. Who's there is a big part of the conversation. Which players are there? Am I playing with my wife? Am I playing with some of my game group? Am I playing with my kids? Those are all factors in the decision of what hits the table, as well as, of course, which rule books I'm prepped for. That's going to be another big part. Okay. Roy Kennedy, how many Kickstarters do you back, Alex? So, fun fact, this is actually, so I back too many. I used to back around 2 or 3 a month. My backlog before I did content creation was around 30 or 40 Kickstarters, which is still a lot. Like backlog meaning the amount of Kickstarters I'm waiting to come in. But I actually just had this conversation on Discord last night, as well as on a video that will be coming up soon with surprise guests. But effectively, I'm currently at 68 outstanding Kickstarters, which is primarily content creation's fault. The fact that I look into games a lot more because I'm doing content on them makes me back games. There are a lot of games that I would not have backed. I would not have looked into. It's a much harder thing, and harder is, again, relative problems in life. But I back a lot more Kickstarters, and those are problems that are future Alex's problem to solve. Today, Alex is totally fine, just waiting and not worrying about the 68 giant games coming. And by the way, most of them are actually not giant. I have shied away from bigger box games over time. Lots of small games in that list, from Agropolis to Cascadia to any number of other games. Elegance Films, what's your opinion of Taboo as there are rumors it's coming this year? I am super intrigued by Taboo and totally prepped to be disappointed by it, because ultimately Taboo is a very technology-driven concept. I think it will add a lot to the gameplay experience, but if it doesn't hit the table, or if it has too many issues or tech issues, then it just won't be whatever. So I would say I am this level of hype and this level of expectations for Taboo. Just, temper your expectations in life. It's a great way to not be disappointed. Okay, we have Board Games in the Air Mass. I love seeing Jason get pied. Oh my gosh, they got pied face. I need to watch that thing. Okay, I need to watch it. Klez, did you play Anzen? Did you like it? I did play Anzen, and I did not like it. That's not true. Got to use my correct words. I did play Aeon's End, and it was okay and did not pull me in. It's not that it was bad. I did play through the full Legacy game. I think actually we didn't actually finish it. I played through most of the Legacy game, but it is one that, and I played the original as well, so I played both. Aeon's End gets a lot of love as a deck builder. For myself, I don't know what it is about it. It doesn't pull me in. Something about Aeon's End the game does not pull me in a way that other deck builders do, despite the love that it gets. Corey Christensen, favorite Jewish holiday? Probably Hanukkah, maybe Purim. Hanukkah, for those who don't know, is going to be the Festival of Lights. 8 days of, well, presents are optional. It's not part of the tradition, but it certainly shows up. But it's 8 days of lighting your candelabra, your menorah, and then having a fried food, which jelly donuts are delicious, by the way. So I like that one a lot. Purim is going to be the Halloween equivalent. We dress up. It happens in March, usually March or April, usually March. And you dress up and walk around to your friends and whatnot. And it's just interesting culturally. You don't walk around to strangers usually. You just walk around to people you know, and you give each other, you exchange food and treats and whatever. And there's a whole bunch of other facets to it as well. But both those are probably my favorite. Roy Kennedy, do you still have faith in Treadbang Legends? I backed it, but I feel like it'll be a different game than what I backed. Seems crazy to me. So come on, in general, I have faith in. They generally above average on an above average number of occasions or instances, whatever, they deliver games that I enjoy and like. And so I have faith in that. Do I have faith in Treadbang Legends specifically? It may disappoint. I don't know. I'm fully prepared for that. I mean, Bloodborne showed up and it's going out the door tomorrow. I didn't even unbox it. I played it on TTS and I was like, not a game for me. Totally fine. That's part of what gives me faith in those 60-day Kickstarters. Is many of them will be games that I love, that I enjoy. Kingdom Rush is excellent. ISIS Vanguard is going to be excellent. Endless Winter is excellent. And then there's games that I move on from. I moved on from Reichbusters. I moved on from Dwellings of Eldervale. I moved on from Bloodborne. For those 68 games, some will stay and some will go. And that gives me faith in my ability to not be living in a house made of boxes of board games. Benjamin Tuasan, thoughts on Ankh? Same idea. It's going to be, I have faith in the trilogy of Rising Sun, Blood Rage, and then Ankh. Plus, of course, like I said already, but come on. In general, I like their games. I am more excited for Ankh than I am for Treadbang. I will say that. KS Smith, pumped for Last Light. You should be. It is an accessible 4X deck, not deck build. It's an accessible 4X game that really did deliver. What are your thoughts on using math trade? Andy Herman, what are your thoughts on using math trades to move games? So, I think math trades are an excellent concept that are very hard to get into just in terms of initially understanding them. And a lot of times you will get burnt on your first trade as you understand what the process actually is. I do think they're a great concept and you should totally engage in them. It's just you have to understand what the concept is a lot, or you'll end up accidentally trading your copy of the Reckoners for, I don't know, for Machikoro because you didn't realize what you were doing. So you have to walk in knowing the process. Okay, Roy Kennedy. Well, decent. I come in to make you talk about my game. I just like your videos. I know you didn't. Okay, so here's how it works. Roy, I don't care what your intent was when you come into my channel. If you come into my channel and you have a game that I liked, I will talk about it. If you come into my channel and you have a game that I didn't like, I will awkwardly avoid the conversation. Paul B, what gives you the comfort that makes you determine if it's safe to back a first-time creator instead of running for the hills? Ooh, great question. So I plan on doing a video on this at some point. Basically, a video on what is my process for looking at games? Because a thing that I am very proud of is I have backed a lot of games. I have not yet been burnt once. Now, it will happen. Statistically speaking, it will happen at some point. A good example is going to be, what's that mess? Sweet Mess. Sweet Mess, the game on Kickstarter, is a game that would have probably passed all my personal checks in terms of what I'm okay with or not. And that is, sure enough, a sweet mess. It is one where you may or may not ever see the game. You might not. It's a complete mess. The guy basically used his funds for his own salary, and I'm not going to get into it extensively. Seems like the books were very poorly kept, and he did not prioritize the setting aside of money to pay for the actual games. It was a mess, but it would have checked my boxes. I think I would have. I didn't actually look at it. I didn't back it, but I think I would have been fine with that one and talked about it and talked about the value and said this will hold its value. I think I would have. So I will definitely be wrong, but so far I haven't been. As far as first-time content creators, you want to look at any number of things. How involved are they in the community? Do they have any names associated with the project? Do they know what they're doing? Like, if you look at a Kickstarter page, you can get a feel. The most recent game, Dark Knight or whatever it was, showed up on Kickstarter. I will not touch that game with a 10-foot pole if it comes back. Not because it won't deliver, but because their lack of understanding of how to run an initial page gives me zero confidence that it will deliver. Give me 1 second, apparently. What's going on? What do you need? I don't have your keys. Cool. Okay, probably on the hook. That's my wife probably looking for keys, apparently. So, anyways, 1 second. Where are the keys? Oh, the keys are on the side door of my car. Thanks. The side door of my car. Enjoy, sweetie. So, that would be an interruption there for keys. because I left them in the wrong place, apparently. Okay, Jessica Talbot. Hi, Alex. I got my ass kicked in my first game of Spirit Island. Yes, that is typical. If you do not play for Spirit Island with people who, if you do not play Spirit Island with people who have played it before, then you probably will lose horribly. You do need to really walk in knowing how to play, but after that, you'll get the feel for the game and it'll be totally fine. Okay. Disciple, will you be getting a TTR Europe 15th anniversary? The value will definitely hold. So I was so proud of Quacklope. Quacklope was talking about the value of this one. He was saying it will hold because of TTR USA, the original. So my problem is I'm not going to be getting TTR Europe because I don't actually buy games to speculate. I don't buy games to sell for profit. I buy games that I'm interested in, and then if they hold their value, awesome, great, I can turn around and sell them. That's my goal with the whole value thing. I'm not interested in stockpiling games to sell them. I have a company that already buys games. There's only so many different ways I can pull my attention, and I'd rather put my attention towards YouTube than more speculation of games. And so I will not be getting TTR Europe to hold its value and sell 5 years down the road when it's out of print. That being said, it will hold its value 5 years down the road and will sell for more than you pay for it if it's out of print. So that is definitely something to be mindful of. Okay, Adam Beach. Ever looked at the Plate of Binding Isaac Four Souls? Never. I know about the title, never looked into it myself. Adam Jorgensen. Oh, hey, it's a Roy. It is a Roy. Roy Canada. Yeah, I've sure been playing Corcus with my kids. Yep, absolutely. Okay, Brandon Apter. Oh my gosh. Are we getting trolls in the comments? It looks like, oh, we're getting trolls in the comments. Time to block people. Okay. Put hide user on this channel. Hide user. Can you play down to hide user on this channel? Okay. Here we go. Okay, sure. No, awesome. Okay, this is awesome. Okay, cool. My first troll fest. This is so much fun. Oh my gosh. Okay, so apparently being invaded by trolls, which is awesome. I feel like I've made it. I feel like I've officially made it. You know, when you have a bunch of people coordinating to jump after. Oh my gosh. Oh, they legit just made my day. Okay, so back to the comments. Wow. Okay, Adam Jorgensen. Oh, it's a Roy. Roy Canada. Yeah, I for sure will be playing Corcus with my kids. Brandon Apter. Just got Marvel Champions. What is a must-have expansion? So, good question. Marvel Champions I love. And speaking of which, we have Roy Canada in the chat, whose #1 game is Marvel Champions. I am so jealous. You said that you play that game the most. I was so jealous of like, I want to play it more. It's on my shelf upstairs. My upstairs shelf is going to be the games that I actually want to play. Sorry, that I want to get to the table shortly. And I love a lot of them. First of all, I will say I love Doctor Strange. His deck really feels incredibly, incredibly, I'm just hiding another user. His deck feels incredibly powerful. I like playing with it a lot. You're obviously going to want to pay attention to the expansion, I can't remember what it's called, the Rise of the Red Skull campaign expansion. You're going to want to pay attention to that one. So yeah, that's basically going to be that. Marvel Champions, excellent. Okay. When and why did you move to the U.S., you traitor? I moved to the U.S. because I was getting married to my wife, so you can blame Rena for that one. And it was in 2010, I want to say. That sounds about right. Okay, K.S. Smith, do you have and/or like the heavier Urizenberg worker placement? Uh-oh, I just lost the chat. Do you have and/or down to Goblin Town, another high use on this channel? Boom. Okay, where are we? So I'm trying to keep track of two different things, which is a whole different conversation, and I lost my chat. Do you have and/or like the heavier Uri Rosenberg worker placement games like A Feast for Odin? I have A Feast for Odin. I played it once. I'm looking forward to playing it again. I liked it a lot, but I also felt the polyomino-ish of the game was a little bit out of place. So I'm intrigued, curious. We'll see how it actually goes. Sakabra, just played Kingdom Rush with the wife in Kingdom yesterday, and I'll be playing it again today. Glad I grabbed it as I seem to enjoy it so far, and I'm currently printing my own towers. Kingdom Rush is excellent. I really haven't, I played it, I don't know, like 15, 20 times, and I hope to get more plays of it in, so we'll see how that goes, but I really recommend Kingdom Rush. Eddie Coulter, good to know. Looking forward to your video on Elemental Uprising. Yep, I'll be doing spoiler. I'm okay with spoiler. Basically, I'll be playing that one with Quacklope. We'll be doing a playthrough and then a review as well of it. Okay, when you recognize names, okay, Eddie Coulter, good to know. Looking forward. Adam Jorgensen, when you recognize names from multiple Discord. Okay, give me a second. It's this impressive. It's incredibly impressive, the trolliness. Okay, good to know. Looking forward. Sorry, Adam Jorgensen, when you recognize names from multiple Discords, yes. Corey Christensen, Adam Jorgensen, don't recognize your name, but definitely the pick. Tommy Janulis, have you played War of the Ring? If you haven't, why not? I haven't played it because the artwork doesn't pull me in. I don't know what to say. Something about it, the artwork just doesn't pull me in on the game. It's one that I need to play because there's only like 7 or 8 games in the top 100 that I really need to actually get to the table, and that's certainly going to be one of them that I want to get to the table. But the artwork of the game does not pull me in, unfortunately. Okay, just another 2 more. Boom, boom. Okay. Hey, Alex, have you tried Moonrakers? No, Moonrakers is on my shelf. I really want to play that one. I need to get to the table. It's an issue of it plays best with 4, and we just don't have 4 players as often. We have 3 regularly. 4 requires a specific combination of people. I am definitely looking forward to getting Moonrakers to the table. I mean, Veiled Fate or Ivy Studios is a solid company. The production value is insane, and the game looks like a deck builder with negotiation, which is completely up my alley. Adam Jorgensen, question. Yeah, okay. We have Roy Canada. Okay, Goblin Town again. Hi, user. Oh, you know what? You know what I'm going to do here? Do you mind? Here, I'm going to go ahead and add a moderator. Yogi Bear, I like you. Yogi Bear, I'm adding you as a moderator. If you want, no pressure at all, but if you want to like just block or remove anyone who posts the channel so I can focus a little more, no pressure. I'm just throwing you in as a moderator. Why not? I'll throw in someone else too as I go through. Okay. I played Roy Canada. Good call. Let's add Roy too. Add moderator. Roy clearly knows what he's doing here. So awesome. Roy, you're a moderator as well. This is literally so fun for me. Okay. Have you played? Let's see. I played Taboo. Oh, no. I played Taboo. Roy Canada. I played Taboo at Gen Con forever ago. It's awesome. It works. It's super cool. So yeah, I'm very excited for Taboo. I know I spoke to Board Game Coffee recently. They really they loved it. They played it at Gen Con as well. They thought it was incredible. They thought it was insane and really added a lot. So we'll see how that goes. Jessica Talbot, have you ever heard about the rat catcher? So I've heard about the rat catcher from Quackalope. I never really looked into it or played it, so I don't know anything about the game. Completely ill-equipped to talk about it. Ciso Pomero, I playtested Bantam West. Oh, Bantam West with the developer, and it's awesome. It's going to be a game changer. Ooh, Bantam West. I'll have to add that to my note. Okay. Paul J, any TTS games do you think is better than the physical version? No. None that I could think of offhand. I almost always prefer in person. Very much. Did you play Tainted Grail since you received it? Will you make a video on it? I will absolutely make a video on it once I get it to the table. But no, I haven't actually played it since I received it. Sakabra moved on from Eldervale. Gasp. So I'm in the minority on this one. I would recommend if Eldervale seems like a game that is interesting to you, I recommend getting it because everyone loves it. I thought it was okay. Not everyone. I know 1 or 2 other people who definitely did not love it. I thought it was okay. I thought it was solid. It just didn't pull me in, but I am the exception. So check it out. Corey Christensen, what time is tonight's statistics video? So basically, I will be doing a video with Tom Vassell covering the statistics of the Dice Tower Top 100 and going through a bunch of things, just showing you different data, asking questions, answering them. I thought it was fascinating. It's something I've been working on. I worked on briefly in December of last year before I really got into content creation and talked to him then. At the time, it was too late for that year, so we're doing it this year, and it's going to be 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. Okay, Martin Vitek, do you know about any games that are great, weren't available for a long time, will be released, reprinted this year? I believe I've heard rumors that Battlestar Galactica is going to be reprinted with a different theme. I don't know if that's true, but we'll see. Roy Canada, Alex is too nice. Joe D, what is your impression of Force of Radaghost? I'm intrigued. I don't know much about it. It looks interesting. It looks half narrative, half miniatures. I'm certainly intrigued by it. We'll see how it goes. Adam Jorgensen reported. So this is where I'm starting to catch up. So what I do, by the way, is just because one time I had audio off for like 6 minutes and didn't notice. So now I have my chat that I respond and go through here where I'm like 5 minutes behind on. And then on my sidebar, I have the other chat where I occasionally peek at to just make sure everything's all healthy and good. And honestly, just for the record, trolls, next time if you want a piece of advice, I wouldn't have noticed if you wouldn't have used caps. It's the constant use of caps lock that made me actually pay attention to what was being said and noticing all the stuff. But I wouldn't have noticed if it wasn't for the caps. So you got to be more subtle in your trolling. It's a waste of time otherwise. I mean, come on, man. Step it up a notch. Take it to the next level. Okay, let's see. We have Jonathan R. Social deduction in real time. DF, have you seen NBA Top Shot digital trading cards? I have not. I'm not into trading cards games in general. Roy Canada, okay, need mods, Alex. I would help. Roy Canada, you have officially been modded. I'm just playing catch up to all this. Okay, Paul B, what is your favorite print and play game? So fun fact. So print and play. I don't do print and plays generally. I actually just got a collection of print and plays that someone said, someone I don't remember the name offhand. They sent me a collection of print and plays. Said, hey, can you review it? I said it's going to be lower priority for me because print and plays I just don't like going through the work on it, but I will try to review them. So you may see some of them. I will say my favorite print and play game is going to be cheating. It's going to be Under Falling Skies, which was a print and play and then became a real game. Similarly, I'm super interested in Super Fantasy Pinball, which I have on my shelf upstairs, and it was a print and play, and I've heard good things about it. I haven't actually played it. Verino, hi Alex, always cool to hear from you. Thanks, Verino. Roy Canada, you know you've made it. Oh my gosh, this is so fun. Okay, Benjamin Hell, what are some of your favorite, most anticipated upcoming Kickstarter Game Found campaigns in 2021? I'd have to think it through. Elemental Uprising is going to be the Game Found one. I don't think there's anything else on Game Found that has been officially announced yet, so we'll see there. There are a lot of campaigns that I am excited for. I'd have to look at my sheet. I have a sheet of tracking Kickstarters. I'm excited about a lot. I don't remember. I'm excited about Monster Hunter World, honestly. Despite myself, Steamforge Games, I am excited about their... Steamforge Games has a track record of IPs that is mixed, and that has me cautionary, but I am still interested because it looks like it might be good. I'll have to see how it goes. Okay. Jared Baltimore. I couldn't tell if this trolling was some sort of inside joke. If so, I clearly missed the pivotal video where trolling was introduced. I don't know. So that's the part. The trolling itself, I find fascinating. I'm totally cool with. I will admit, I am curious what triggered it. I'm curious what forum post, what Reddit thread, did I do something, was just a coincidence? I am very curious what actually triggered it. So that part bothers me because I like to know things, but the actual incidence of it is like, if someone just points me to a Reddit thread where someone tells me how it happened, that'd be great, because then I'd know what happened, and then I'd have their curiosity appeased. Otherwise, it's all good. Okay, where can I? I'm currently playing Quicksilver solo. I don't think... Oh, Quicksilver from Marvel Champions. Oh my gosh, I haven't gotten Quicksilver yet. I think I actually just added that one to my list of games, list of expansions. There's a bunch of Marvel Champions expansions I hadn't gotten, like Ant-Man, the Wasp, or whatnot. So I just added those to a pre-order. Be getting those soon. Don't know why, but I just can't get into the Marvel Champions. Honestly, I don't think Marvel Champions is for everyone. It's lots of heavy math, not heavy math, lots of math and counting and trying to figure out how to min-max your way to a victory. I don't think it's for everyone. But I really enjoy it. It was in my top 50 of all time, and I think if I play it more, it'll only go up. So we'll see how that goes. Adam Jorgensen, I want to hear that too. Benjamin Tucson, what are your thoughts on your car keys? Yes. Oh my gosh, I like these chats. I like the chaos. I like the disorganization. I like it when I go off topic and I ramble. It's nothing against any content creator out there, but I like the realty. I like the reality. I think the realty is the right word. I like the aspect of just trying to figure out life, basically, of having a conversation with people, of dealing with your car keys on chat, dealing with trolls on chat. I'm not like some person who's talking on camera and off whatever. It's just life and board games all at the same time. Okay, so my thoughts on my car keys is, apparently last night I was giving someone a ride home. My wife's car was in the way, so I accidentally left her car keys in my car door and had to figure that out now doing a video, because that's usually when you would figure it out. Luxy Dark. Oh, we got another one. See, here's another one. See, look, this is a good example right here. Luxy Dark Fanboy 2. Why are you Jewish is the name. Now, he didn't do it in caps. So I would normally, I'm just going to go ahead and, hide user and remove. Normally, I would completely just not realize that at all. I would just answer that and engage. If you do it without caps, I won't notice. I'll take you seriously. I seriously, genuine conversation here. Don't do the caps, man. It's a giveaway. Danny Wilson, what do you think of Oathsworn Into the Deepwood coming up this year? I just played Oathsworn. Oh my gosh. So I did a video of why I backed Oathsworn, and the publisher reached out to me and said, hey, thanks for the video. That's awesome. We'd love to play Oathsworn with you on TTS or Tabletopia, actually. And so we spent 3 months trying to align our schedules, but we eventually got it to happen about 2-3 weeks ago, and it's really solid. I'm even more excited about my pledge now. It does a lot of interesting, innovative things. Almost feels like a cross between Gloomhaven and Kingdom of Death Monster in like different elements of what it's trying to do, but it's really solid. I really enjoyed it and appreciate it. Okay, we have, what else we have? Purse Orly, where do you live before you moved, and were you really into board games before you moved? So I lived in Toronto before I moved. I had played Catan, Carcassonne, and a few other games, but I was not into board games the way I was now. It took me till around 2011 when I was already in Cleveland before I slowly got introduced to Stone Age and Small World and started to realize that there was a greater ecosystem out there, started exploring, and I never looked back. Great, JJ the Great. I heard an expansion for A Feast of Odin is essential. I have the expansion. I need to play it. A lot of games that I really need to play. Brandon, after any suggestions on where to find Cthulhu Death May Die base game? It's nowhere. Plans for a reprint. So I assume that, okay, I don't know for a fact. This is not insider information. Insider information I wouldn't tell you. Speculation I will tell you. So basically, I assume there will be a Cthulhu Death May Die Season 3 from Come eventually. That game did well. It continues to rise. It's one of their games that will have staying power, like Zombicide. I believe there will be continued expansions and content for it because Come likes money, as most companies do. This is not an evil statement. They like money, and they have a popular game, and people want to get their hands in it. You will not be able to get your hands on Season 1 and Season 2, likely, just based on traditional Come the way they handle things. So you'll have to hunt those down on the secondary market, but it will be a standalone thing, almost certainly. Again, no inside information here, complete speculation, but it's just the nature of the game. Adam Beach. Do you ever get into MTG and the such, or Yu-Gi-Oh and the such? So MTG, yeah, I was big time into MTG from around 2008 to 2010, I want to say. I really liked it. Solid game, but it's all consuming. You just have to constantly be up to date on the same game again and again, dealing with the meta. I really like it. I think it's an excellent system, but over time, you have to realize it's kind of, you can play MTG, you can play Warhammer, or you can play all the board games, and I chose all the board games. Verno, have you followed the whole Tassini deal that came out about a week ago? I'm Italian and I work for US University, and it's intriguing to hear different points of view. See, this is an example of it doesn't matter how much of a troll you are. If you ask a question reasonably, I'll engage for better or for worse and for whatever damage it ends up doing. I think the Daniel Tassini thing is a tricky one. And I think it's a tricky one because, and there's a reason why you don't hear any of the big content creators speaking about it. And I think that big one is because whether you do speak about it or whether you don't speak about it, and what you do and don't say has the potential for damage. It has the potential for causing harm to one party or another. If you aggressively attack Daniel Tassini for what he did too much, you may well hurt someone above the degree of what his crime was. If you don't attack him enough, you may be hurting the victims of casual statements that are not said with sensitivity. I do not know what is in Daniel Tassini's mind. I do not know what is in his mind at all. I can't speak for that. What I can speak for is I have seen multiple different opinions, not my own, of whether and how problematic his words were. I've seen opinions from Italians, from native Italians, both giving contradictory information saying, no, what he said is racist, no, what he said isn't racist. It is certainly not the N-word. That much I think is established by now. It's certainly not the equivalent of the N-word. It is akin to it. I believe the word was negri. I don't know the context or how bad it is, but it seemed to be a step down from the N-word. And the question is, how problematic is it? Now, I'm not validating, I'm not giving any clear passes to anyone. What I will say is, I will tell you 100%, I have made inappropriate jokes at the game table. I'm just telling you right now, let's save some time. You can save all the Googling. I have sat there, seen a bunch of playing pieces, seen, a bunch of black playing pieces being like the inferior ones, and some say, and made some sort of racist joke about it, but not with the intent to do harm, but it's a problem. It's still a problem. I remember watching a video with Eric Lang and Tom Vassell where they talked about the nature of, I don't think of myself as a racist. I don't think of myself as having a racist mentality, but I certainly have had less sensitivity with my words at times and the potential damage they can do. I guarantee you it has happened. I guarantee it will happen again. The problem is, back then, I just had a bunch of friends at a gaming table, and my insensitive remarks did not have any, I'm not going to say they didn't have any damage. My insensitive remarks did not have a pushback against myself. Versus if you say that in a public sphere, they will. I guarantee you I have done and said things and will continue to do and say things that are problematic. I guarantee you I should not, and it's something that I should work on, and we should all do that. I believe Daniel Tassini was wrong. I do not know if he is an outright racist or if just a lack of sensitivity. So no matter what happens, it is a problem. You have to condemn the actions said. You always condemn the actions. Shutting down the person, it's hard to read into the intent and how much do you or do you not. And again, you risk damage either way. If you are too casual about it, like myself, I run the damage of potentially giving a free pass or it's coming across like I'm giving a free pass when I'm not. I do run that risk. But if I condemn him too hard for something that we're all guilty of, or many of us are guilty of, a lack of sensitivity with our words without necessarily lack of intent, then I run the risk in the reverse direction. There is potential damage either way. It is a challenging situation for everyone. The people I feel the worst for are obviously the people on the receiving end of feeling excluded. The people who are on the receiving end of feeling like a minority, feeling pushed out, feeling a lack of sensitivity. They obviously have the worst of it. But it doesn't mean that you immediately shut down or destroy anyone else. I'm not saying you don't. I'm just saying you have to have precision with your words, with your actions. Anyone who jumped against anyone else without doing their research on it is someone who's jumping and engaging in mob mentality. By all means, condemn, but I hope you did your research first. That's my thing with it. Okay. Oh boy. See, the trolls don't do as much damage as myself. All things Greg, have you tried Summit? I have not. Yogi Beer, I think it would have been a pretty successful, so we'd probably get a season 3. We're almost certainly going to get a season 3. Okay, Wesley King, hi. Jonathan A, good call. We're kind of good call. This is the moderating stuff. Okay, Roy Yogi Bear. I always wanted to ban Roy. Oh my gosh, Yogi Bear. Can you ban another mod? I don't even know. Jared Bultima, have you had a chance to play Nidavellir? I just got Nidavellir. I'm super excited. I know I want to play it. I want to play it. Okay, let's see where we are. Pierre Jasic, that was fast. Klez, will you get the upcoming The Crew add-on? I didn't know there was a Crew expansion. I'm super excited, and we'll be getting it 100%. The Crew is excellent. I have it right over here on my shelf. Excellent game. K.S. Smith, ghosts will need to be banned. Drop the N-word earlier in chat. Ooh, that's problematic. Okay. Sakabra, big day, trolls and mods. You've definitely made it to the big league now. I'm going to have to coordinate with people with mods. This is a whole new world for me. I like it. It's fun. Okay. Because it's hard. The problem is the one thing they do succeed on this is before I made a mod, I had to pay attention to 2 different chats and it threw me off my game 100%. Adam Beach, also girlfriend got me into the Lesser As 30 pages of rules mugs. Oh, you saw that. Where's that's upstairs? Yeah, okay. Yeah, basically that mug, I have a mug that says, unless it has 30 pages of rules and 500 pieces, I'm not interested. It's a great mug. I have another one. I have a few of them actually, so I'm intrigued with them. Okay. Brass, have you thought about a top 20 games of all time list? I did a top 50 games of all time list. So, I mean, I have top 50. You can check that out. Next year, I'll hope to do top 100. We'll see. Josh Whitley. Hi, Alex. Loving you on Cracklow Podcast and your YouTube channel. What expansions do you think are best to add to Black Plague? We're going to want The Wolfsburg expansion, those wolves are a ton of fun. You're going to want the Deadeye Walkers, the ones, the archers who shoot a lot of bows and arrows at your face. Those are a lot of fun. And you're going to want some hero variability and some abomination variability. Past that, I would say all of them because they're all a lot of fun. But that's mainly what you're going to look for. Sakabra, we love Eldervale. It's fantastic. That's awesome. Roy Candidate, do you ever get rid of a game when its value is super high, even if you like the game? No, I do not. I am tempted to, but no, I do not. It's something that I should. By all practical means, this is where there's a balance. I often give financial advice in my videos about how to be in this hobby in the most successful way possible. And to that end, my advice would be that if there is a super expensive, hyped game that you have, absolutely get rid of it. There's do that because you can get it back a year from now at half the price, and you'll have other games. Can I get a comment if there's a hold on the screen? Because it seems, nope, it's not just you. Oh, we're back. Okay, we are back. You see, this is, nope. It's back-ish. Lags. Okay, so the good news is I'm paying attention here, so I do see that it lagged. So at least we got that. Going back to my question, I'll start from the beginning. Do you ever get rid of a game when its value is super high, even if you like the game? So the answer is no, I don't. I'm going to skip part of the answer because I think it seemed like it was there. But effectively, I do not want to, even though my advice would be to get rid of a game that is high value because you can always get it back later. At the same time, I don't want to in any way sell games that I love. And you should. It's illogical to hold on to a game because you can always get it back later for less money if it's currently hyped up. But there's a balance to being the person who's always paying attention to the dollars and the signs and trying to figure out the maximization of your hobby versus being someone who is who loves games. And so I try to blend a hybrid, and I don't think I've ever gotten rid of a game because the value is temporarily high, hoping to get it back. Adam Jorgensen, sweet. This video for tonight sounds cool. Yes, exactly. I'm very excited for this video, Tom. Very excited. It's completely on my alley, by the way. I couldn't have asked for a better initial collaboration with the Dice Tower. Talking about statistics is it's completely my jam. So we'll find out. Yeah. Adam Jorgensen, would be great to have Tom and Alex in one video. Yes. Roy Canada, I sold my BSG even though I love the game because it's worth a ton and I could play a friend's copy. So the playing a friend's copy thing is an interesting one. That potentially could change. For myself, I am the main game person in my group. I have the most games, whatever it is, and the majority of the games. So ultimately, I don't have that excuse, unfortunately. Frank Castlehorse, let me just give me a second to see where I am up to the chat. Oh, I'm not. Nope, I'm far behind. Not that far. Nope, I'm far behind. Oh boy, I'm gonna start rattling through some questions here. Frank Castor, if I have conceived an incredibly new and revolutionary game mechanic but don't want to design the game, what can I do? Can I share the idea privately with someone for validation and advice? You can. I will say in general, don't be that worried about your ideas being stolen. It happens more rarely than you think. That being said, ultimately, you're going to have to champion your own design. Many people are not going to want to champion your design when they can champion their own design instead, unless your design is that good. You're going to have to be a part of the process if you really want to see it take life or get really lucky. Okay, let's see. I'm going to skip forward a bit to just try to jump around a bit. Ori, come back after making coffee and see a wasteland of deleted comments. Yeah, Ori, so if you missed it, there were a bunch of trolls in the comments. It was a really fun moment. Quick, Gajam Nim. This means I can skip the question queue by using caps. Sending love and support. You don't skip the question queue. It's just if there's 15 caps on the sidebar, I suddenly pay attention. The first one I didn't. Lionel Galen, morning, Alice. Looking forward to TV with Dice Tower. First one ever. Yes, this will be my first collaboration with the Dice Tower. Super excited. I've been watching Tom Bassel since 2011. It's insane. It's it has been insane in general being in content creation as a space and being able to engage with people who I've looked up to for years. And Tom Bassel has been, I've been watching his stuff for a long, long time. Okay. After skipping Primal, I am keen to see what Steam Forge have done. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna skip forward. I'm just quickly scroll through some of these. Okay. Matthew Palmer, hi, first time view. I'm thinking about opening a small board time shop in Scotland. Would your general advice be go for it or not? Without knowing more, I'd say don't go for it. That being said, if you really want to go for it, look into it. But board games are a tough place to be in. You have to fight tooth and nail to actually break even and make money. So yeah. Roy Canada, he said min max, validated. Yes. Nicholas D, I'm from France. What is the rare game you cannot wait that your children be old enough to play with you? Ooh, I don't know if I have anything specific. I kind of am more of a live in the moment kind of person. So I play games with them that they currently can play. I don't think I keep a lot of games hoping that they will play because those games I'm enjoying right now. But I'm sure there's a lot. Zombicide, when they can play Zombicide Black Plague with me or Clue Left May Die, that'll be fun. Okay, let's see. Aaron, I prefer the chat format too. Way more genuine. Okay, I prefer the chat format. Okay, Max Hanson, Cosmic Frog. Any thoughts? I haven't played it. I'm interested in it. Just a girl who games. I'm intrigued by Primal. I love the art, not so many games, but man, the price point. It's hard. The price point, it has, as much as I love Primal, keep in mind, it is one of the most expensive entry points I've ever seen in a Kickstarter, which is definitely a problem. That definitely is a problem for them. Then again, they just cost $2 million, so not that much of a problem. I respect the problem. For myself, obviously, I'm not in that camp because I go all in when I like a game, and I very much like Primal. Peter Jasek, thoughts on Marvel Legendary? I don't like Marvel Legendary. I'm sorry. I love Marvel Champions. Marvel Legendary never pulled me in. I think I'm in the minority there as well, but yeah. Okay, Chris, have you ever played Cult, Choose Your God? I don't think I have. I've seen it around. I've never actually played it. I know I didn't play it. I shouldn't say I don't think I have, but I've seen it around. Let's see where we go. CAD Techniblock. Do you ever see print and play board game expansions ever taking off for skirmish games? I can't imagine a print and play skirmish game taking off. I could be wrong, but I can't imagine taking it off. Okay, let me just scroll down a bit. Okay. As an Ohio resident, how is Origins nowadays? COVID set aside. That was my go-to favorite conventions 10 years. I've never gone to any convention. I plan on going to as many as I can once things open up. Peter Zalen, have you been following Oath by Leader Games at all? I have not been following it. I am intrigued. I did not back it. I missed the Kickstarter. Like, I genuinely just missed it. Did not see it at all. But I am definitely intrigued and will almost certainly be picking it up. We'll see how that goes. Daniel Lopez, Primals looks amazing, but from the places I've seen, it seems really fiddly. Do you think there's anything you wish had been trimmed down? I'd have to think more critically about that answer, but I do agree it is on the fiddly side. It has not impacted my enjoyment. But that, like right now, for me, it's going to be Primal versus Marvel Champions in terms of which one I like more long term. There are aspects of Primal I like more, but there are aspects of Marvel I like more. And the fiddliness is certainly going to be a thing that I hope they can clean up before the Kickstarter comes live. Cobra, what do you think about the upcoming Kickstarter Clinic Deluxe edition with expansions? I don't have any thoughts about it. I haven't played Clinic. I will be paying attention, obviously, but I haven't actually played Clinic. Corey Christensen, favorite thing about getting married young? Ooh, this is a conversation into itself. Favorite thing about getting married young. So I can't speak for the cultural aspect of, like, I got married when I was 21. Okay. I think I turned 22 the next day or something like that. So I got married young, and that gave me a big focus in life. I've always been focused. I never spent time doing other things. Now, you don't have to get married to be focused. I don't want to offend anyone who's like, what are you talking about? I've had this career and that. You don't have to be married to have a focus, not in the slightest. But you certainly, when you have to put a roof over your head and someone else's head, it certainly helps. It certainly helps having responsibility. And I think that the responsibility along the way certainly pushed me along a trajectory of responsibility at a younger age that I possibly would have had otherwise. That would be probably my favorite thing. This could really be its own entire conversation. Hey, we have AntLab Games in the chat. Wait, where do AntLab Games? I missed them. Where's AntLab? I missed AntLab Games. Okay, well, they apparently hopped into the chat. Oh, there we go. Feast for Odin expansion is great. There we go. Hey, AntLab Games. Good to see you here. Okay, let's see. Ori, it may have been asked before, but have you played solo RPG like 4 Against Darkness? I have not. Yogi Bear, what is your favorite game that doesn't come in a box? Sprawlopolis. Almost certainly Sprawlopolis. Lionel Gaylord, when's your video with Luke on your channel? When? My video with Luke is already on the channel. One up Friday. Going to be rapid fire reviews with the Broken Meeple. Adam Jorgensen, Braz indeed, but that price point. Yes, indeed. Cat Technoblock, how would you integrate an app in a board game? I would prefer not to personally, but I reluctantly deal with them. Paul B, are the Dice Stone games just a glorified and expensive version of Yahtzee? Yes, but then again, you could probably say that about a lot of games and insert this game as a glorified version of that. I mean, any Blood Rage is a glorified version of Risk when you think about it, but it's much, 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 much better than Risk. JJ the Great, you know the YouTube channel Game Brigade? Oh, Game Brigade, Brian, yeah, he's awesome. I've talked with Brian. We haven't officially scheduled what we're doing. We do plan on doing a collaboration as well, but I talk to Brian all the time. Alex, I don't know, man. I say some pretty bad things about, and my wife isn't white. I don't feel there's a way I can respond to that comment that won't get me in trouble, so I will just back off slowly. Ori, it sounds corny, but it's true. We need to see each other as fellow humans with similar feelings. Yeah, again, it's a very difficult conversation. It's a tricky one. Did you end up backing Freedom 5, and if so, what level did you go in? I did end up backing Freedom 5 at the all-in level, and I'm totally fine with the fact, to be clear, Freedom 5 was fiddly for me. I'm not completely sold in it. I liked it a lot. But the end game needs to be a little bit different, a little more streamlined for it to stay in my collection. But I'm pretty confident in the value, so I took the risk, and we'll see how it goes. Okay. Peter Zalen, people need to stop being so sensitive at the end. So this is where I disagree. I think the sensitivity is earned and justified. It's the handling of the sensitivity that's a problem. There is truth to the concept that it's easy for a straight white male to be casual about something that doesn't negatively affect it. It does not. I do not believe in invalidating the voices of others based on their skin color or what they have or haven't gone through. I don't believe in that at all. But I do believe that you have to understand your biases, where you're coming from, and where you will be less sensitive to things. The fact that I am not negatively affected by certain things is, I mean, don't get me wrong. The flip side is I did just have a whole bunch of anti-Jewish trolls in the comments, and I found it more amusing than anything else. That being said, everyone has the right to be offended by things that are offensive to them. I just wish we handled them in a way that incentivized future growth across the board, as opposed to a way that shut people down and didn't incentivize change in a real way. But again, these are tricky. There are no clear winners in these conversations. My intents, I guarantee you, my intentions are the best. It does not mean that my actions or my choices or my advice is correct. My intentions are excellent, but so are many others. It's a balance. It is a very tricky thing. Aaron, the crew add-on, my family phase. We just finished the campaign. Roy Canada, you can't ban a mod. I am so behind in this chat. Oh my gosh. Okay. Successful Geek. Alex, what campaign game you enjoy playing most online with Quackloop and or other content creators? I don't know. A campaign game online. So first of all, the idea of playing a campaign game online is so... Ugh, I have no interest in that. I play online games as a reluctant introduction to the game. I don't play them because I want to. So I would not play an online game. Okay. Seller, how is Blitzkrieg? I see it on the shelf. Blitzkrieg is excellent. Love that game. Danny Wilson, I've recently seen Adventure Tactics on your shelf. Is a review coming up? I need to play it. I need to play Adventure Tactics. It's one of many games that is on the shelf that needs to see playing time. So we'll see how it goes. Now we got to the stream dying, which was a few minutes ago. So let me just quickly scroll through a bit. Okay, I'm going to scroll through a bit over here. I may skip a few questions, so feel free to whatever. Okay, Adam Jorgensen, here's a left field question for Alex to answer. If you hypothetically did a group stream with Tom Bassel, Jeremy Howard, and King of Average, how do you think it would go? I do not think it would go well. I do not want to stir the pot, but Tom Vassell and King of Average have certainly had drama in the past, and I do not think that stream... I honestly, no, that's not true. I think it would go fine. I think there'd be a little tension. I don't think it would happen, but they're all adults. I think we are all adults, and I do not think any major drama would happen. I just know that Tom Vassell and King of Average have certainly had drama. Adam Jorgensen, Fireworks. Board Games and Nermous, I could use the services. I feel like I'm missing the chat here. Warner, hello from Guatemala. I almost missed today's session. Hey, Warner, how's it going? By the way, I will say it's 11 o'clock. Usually this is the point where I start saying in about 10, 15 minutes, I'll probably start closing things up, but we're still good to go now. Patrick, Radlands, did you test it? I did not test it. I've seen good things about it, heard good things about it, interested in it, have not gotten it. Hi, Sir Madrig. This is the name I can never pronounce. Hi, Alex. How do you feel about the board game industry as coped during the last year with COVID and isolation? I know you have your own business in this industry, so it's very important for you. So we saw an initial bump during lockdown. BoardGameCo as a retail operation saw about a 10% bump in sales during lockdown. I think it's stabilized out. The industry in general has done significantly better than I thought it would, given the restrictions at play. I don't think it's been particularly better or worse as a whole. It may have introduced more people to board gaming in general because being shut down from other forms of entertainment, but it'll be a long time before we see that real drift into the hobby and how that plays out long term. Alex Leotosis, have you heard of the Descent Legends of the Dark Summer 2021? If you're referring to the new gigantic $175 MSRP Descent Big Box, I've heard of it. I have no plans of getting it. I never got the original Descents. Warner, I missed Oath 2, but got in the late pledge, looking forward to it. So I saw the late pledge. I decided to pass on it. I wasn't confident in the value versus just getting it at retail, but I didn't look into it heavily, so take that with a grain of salt. Okay, Adam Jorgensen, Board Games with Nearmass. Yep, I was just wondering about a stream with KOA involved. I figured it'd be interesting since they come from pretty different directions. So I've offered to King of Average to do collaborations in the past. We've offered to do videos or conversations or different things. He hasn't seemed to want to drift out. Invitation's always open. I like people in the space. This is not meant to be pressuring either. I'm just saying I'm open to it. That door is open as far as I'm concerned. Adam Jorgensen, Antlab Games. Oh, nice to see you folks. Oh my gosh, Antlab Games is such a pleasure to watch. So you have to watch them. I'll put a link down to the channel. I've done that already before, but I'll throw a link down to the channel down below when this live stream's done. But check out Antlab Games. They basically do playthroughs. It's unpaid, unscripted, and ad-free. And they are awesome. It wasn't meant to make fun of them. I just enjoy watching their stuff. But they're a joy to watch. I really like their videos, and their hype of the games has certainly been a factor. And I would say generally, I want to say I've been pretty aligned with them on taste so far, which is a good thing. Okay, Alex, have you had a new baddie so money is tight, Santorini on our list of games, but is worried about being like chess and one person always wins? So I have not experienced that. The nice thing with Santorini is if you're really having a problem with imbalance, some character combos are a little stronger than others, so you can always factor it in that way. And the way I do it is I usually swap characters back and forth to get an experience for them. Let's see. Cat Tank the Block. When I said about print and play board games expansion, I was referring to one expansion in Xia. There's a print and play expansion in Xia. Did not know that. Roy Canada. Thanks, Alex. Back to my Champions games. Looking forward to seeing you guys tonight. Oh, Roy. Okay. Enjoy your Champions game. I'll see you tonight. Oblong. Sprawlopolis over Crokinole. Who said that? Did I say that? I don't know who said that. I mean, would I choose Sprawlopolis over Crokinole? Interesting. This is a fascinating one. Crokinole is not on my top 50. Sprawlopolis is. But I don't know if I'd keep Sprawlopolis over Crokinole. I think I would. Sprawlopolis I play all the time. Crokinole I don't. So I think I would keep Sprawlopolis over Crokinole. So great. Top 10 choices validated. Okay, Sebastian. I missed this in QA again. We're just saying, 1 second. Just a little bit of a... Okay. We admire your work for doing this community, a fresh voice. Okay, K. Smith, do you have a dice tower? If so, where from and recommend it? I don't have a dice. That's not true. I have a dice tower somewhere. I lent it out to somebody. I have no clue who has it. I tend to not use them. I forget to pull them out, and then I just roll dice on the table. I find it works well. Board Games of their mess. Adam Jorgensen had to Google KOA. Never heard of it before. It doesn't seem my range of taste in games either. King of Average. So yeah, King of Average does a lot of Kickstarter content. Great channel. Check it out. Does a lot. Like he was a big inspiration to me as well. Like when I first started, like very much. Like I followed his videos all the time. He's a relatively big person in the space and a lot of fun to watch. Adam Jorgensen, board games with Nirmas indeed is pretty awesome. The board game community is so varied, though. Adam Jorgensen, I enjoy both and I lost the chat again. This happens. I enjoy both Koei, Alex, and Dice Tower, all for different reasons. Yeah, we're all very, very different in what we do, completely different. And like the amount of people I follow with completely different voices it's a big part of the space. I mean, I can go through, like, I watch Shut Up and Sit Down and No Pun Included for the entertainment value. I do not align with them on game taste. Who do I align with the game taste? Sam Healy was always my go-to. Roy Kennedy is actually going to be my new person from the Dice Tower who most aligns with me on game taste. Tom Vassell and I shared a lot of overlap. I tend to go to Dice Tower for the most practical application. I've done videos. There's entertainment, there's information, there's all kinds of different content creators out there that give different spaces to the hobby and different voices. Okay. Let's see. Adam Jorgensen. Okay. Peter Zalin. Heard you mention AntLab Games. Heard you mention Black Plague earlier. We have the Night Pledge sitting on the shelf in Shrink. Worth cracking into. So that's a great question, AntLab. So I don't know if I've seen what you've played that would make me think you like Black Plague or not. So I know you played ISS Vanguard. I don't know if I've seen you play Dungeon Crawlers. I don't know if I've watched any. I'm sure you have. I don't know if I've seen any of your videos with Dungeon Crawler type situations. I like Black Plague a lot. If you played Cthulhu Death May Die, it's going to be in the same vein. Very different games, but I like both a lot. So I think it's worth cracking into for sure. And it's accessible. And you guys do playthroughs. It'll be so much fun. I'm in the middle of trying to rework my space back here to actually get a setup so I can do playthroughs with my wife. I want to start doing playthroughs with my wife. Motivated by, speaking of which, motivated by Before You Play, by AntLab Games, by seeing just couples sitting down playing games. And I'm like, oh, great, I can double up and play more games and film them and get both in. So I want to start doing it. But Black Plague would be a ton of fun to watch. I'd watch that whole thing. I mean, just watching the two of you get completely stormed by zombies and have to work your way out, it would be a lot of fun. Brandon Apter, thoughts on the new Watch It Played Patreon? I mean, it's pretty simple. Watch It Played now has a Patreon, and I have no problem with that. I mean, ultimately, I am a big fan of people in the space in some way getting paid for their time, and most of them, I would say majority of people do not get paid equitable to the time they put into the space. So I have no problem with the Patreon. I hopped right on. It's like one of my patrons. I hopped straight into it. Watch It Play has been a big part of my growth in the hobby, and I'm happy to support. I tend to support the people who have been instrumental in the way I view board games in general. I've supported Dice Tower's Kickstarter. I just backed Watch It Play Patreon. I don't think Shut Up and Sit Down again is a tricky one. They don't have a Patreon. They have a donation, I think. I have to double check the various things. But yeah, I'm a big fan of supporting people in the hobby. Okay, let's see. The Wilderness Enthusiast. What happened between Vassal and King of Average? The short version. I feel like it's turning into Get Drama Stew. The very short version is the Dice Tower, I believe, was scrolling through a Kickstarter a long time ago and said something that was a little bit dismissive about King of Average. It wasn't meant to be personal. I don't think it was personal. It was just about like, oh, I don't know who these people are, or something along those lines. And it turned into a bit of a back and forth. And I keep in mind, by the way, I've done the same thing. Quacklope, who's like one of my like bros or whatnot, who I do stuff with Quacklope all the time. My first interaction with them was scrolling through a Kickstarter and thinking they were like some French YouTube channel that I'd never heard of. I had no clue what was going on. So I think it was a misunderstanding that ended up turning into a little bit of a thing. Again, nothing serious happened. But like it was a small thing. Okay. Do you feel that content creators, Uri Goldsmith, this is a great question. Uri Goldsmith, do you feel that content creators are missing a massive part in their reviews when they're rushing to post a review on a game, only playing it solo or for 10 hours in 1 week? That's an excellent question. The most ideal way to do a review, in my opinion, is to review it after you've had it on your shelf for like 6 months or a year. Obviously, that'd be the most ideal. The problem is now your review is much more helpful in the breadth and scope and depth of what you are offering, but it's much less useful to the people who are trying to buy that new game who just came out. So it is often a balance between giving as much information as possible versus giving information when it is most relevant. This is why my Kickstarter stuff, I usually do should you back it's within 3 days of a campaign going live, because I'm trying to give people the information they need when it's most relevant, when they can make decisions. I will then follow up on that with my Kickstarter roundups, giving more updates and information, but it is a balance. That's why I do value, like for instance, I value a one-stop co-op shop when they do their 6 months later. So they both give you their initial first impressions, which are valid. They are valid initial first impressions. And then 6 months later, they're like, did this game make it or not? And they talk about that. And I'm going to have the same thing with my games leaving the collection. I guarantee you, games that I liked and said I'm keeping, they will leave as well. Now, I usually am very specific with my words about whether I think a game is going to stay for a long time. I will say about a game, this one is going to be here for a long time. And then other games, I'll be like, I enjoyed it. We'll see how it does down the road. And for right now, it's staying in my collection. And that usually means that it's almost certainly being put on a mental chopping block, and something I have to play it more and it has to improve for it to stay. So there is a balance between giving as much information as possible in the most comprehensive form as possible versus giving information for people that are relevant. I think there are no easy answers, and I respect all different sides of what happens. I'm a big fan of disclaimers, though. I'm a big fan of giving disclaimers as to, like, if you played a game once and you want to review it, just say you played it once. Okay. Let's see. Have you seen the newer Kickstarter? We covered that one. Okay, I'm missing the chat again here. Okay, we have Cat Technoblogs, Jessica Talbach, almost 20K. Yep. I don't have anything planned. I probably should. Maybe a giveaway. I don't know. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun stuff. Adam Jorgensen, how many games do you have, Alex? So I have roughly, I have to double check my numbers. I have roughly like 330 or so, but about like 70 of those or so are unplayed. So my actual collection of games, of played games, are around 250 or so games. Crokinole, Oblong. Crokinole is about your answer for best game not in a box. Oh, I didn't give that as an answer, but that should be. Oh, Sprawlopus over Crokinole. Yeah, I prefer Sprawlopus over Crokinole. I think we validated that. Chuck and Deb Taylor, Alex, always enjoy your content. Also married young, 37 years later, very happy. Keep up your great work. So congratulations. I'm at 10 years, going on 11. So I got time to catch up. All things Greg, I've never done a game solo, and I feel like it's going to be an odd adjustment period. Did you find that was the case when you first started playing solo games? So I went through 2 solo phases. I went through my initial solo phase where I tried them and said it's not for me. And then years later, I played Spirit Island, and that just hooked me into it and got more into other games. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. Aaron, how do you and Mina deal with distracting the kids while you game? My daughter, even while I'm mom watching her, just want to be right up, whatever game I'm playing, whatever I'm in the house. The answer is you play your games at night for the most part. A majority of our games will be at night. And really, our older kids are fine. It's our 1-year-old who just literally grabs a step stool, moves it over to the table, walks up and starts grabbing dice off the table. He loves the games. He loves playing with the pieces. I don't think I've actually lost anything yet, but it's going to happen. Board Games and Their I would love to see Antlab Games play a full game of Zombicide Black Day 2. Would be a fun for a different style of game on your videos. Yes, I want to see it happen. I think that would be. They're more Euro-y. I think their games are more Euro-y. Their taste in general. Eric Bergman, looking for an adventure card game for solo play. Been playing Mage Knight for a while. Have you been playing Lord of the Rings card game? If so, what is your opinion? So, I mean, I like Marvel Champions, but I don't know if I'd call that an adventure card game. I don't know what I'd think of offhand. But maybe Too Many Bones. I like Too Many Bones a lot. I think that classifies as an adventure card game. It's hard to know some of these categories. Cat Tech Box. Some background information about the next Beast of Balance. If interested, Sensible Object, the creators of Beast of Balance, was bought by Niantic and now it's owned by Modern Games. Cool. Okay, let me see a few more comments here. I'm going to start closing this up. Silverding, have there been any board games you play that you think would make a good movie TV series? I guess this would work best for campaign games such as Gloomhaven or ISS Vanguard. ISS Vanguard would make a great TV series. It's called Star Trek. But I'd have to think Tainted Grail. I can see Tainted Grail doing well. I mean, in general, campaign games, you're right. They will be the first instinct. I find when you turn, like, I just heard an announcement of, like, Risk is being turned into a TV show or a movie. I'm like, that's not a movie or a TV show. That's just war. Watch The Alamo. I mean, like, what do you need Risk for? Like, it's a weird tangent. Okay, Aaron, there are definitely content creators that try to fill in the gap of letting stuff sit before they review. Paul Kogan is a year after for his tops of the year. So I plan on doing it once I actually have a year of reviews in my belt. I plan on doing similar to Tom Vassell does, and inspired by him. I plan on doing a check back on how my review stands a year down the road. Do I still like it? Do I still not? Obviously, I still have my games leaving the collection videos, but I plan on touching base on my reviews over time. I think is an important part. But again, it's a balance. The longer you wait, the less relevant your information is, both from your stance as a content creator from getting views, subscribers, which are important things to grow in the space, as well as from a stance from the audience person who bought it 5 months ago because they didn't see a review from you. So it is a balance either way. Aaron, no, I covered that. Daniel Lopez, I think you mentioned in the past that sometimes you get a little carried away when it comes to Kickstarter. What are some Kickstarters that you wish somebody would have told you not to back? I have to look at it. So I usually, not always, maybe Hell the Last Saga. Like that one, I kind of like it'll hold its value. I mean, that's my problem. My problem is when I'm on the fence, I look at whether it'll hold its value, and I use that as my excuse to get it or not. I'm sure there are some, but I'd have to really look through what they are. Okay, I fully agree. Bergen's Near I fully agree on this topic. That's why I do first impressions instead of reviews. Yeah, calling it first impressions instead of reviews is great. I think it helps add to the conversation. I see this with the Dungeon Dive as well. They call it the first impressions and then a review later. I think it's relevant. Okay, Kim Isaacson, what do you think of Robinson Crusoe? I never played it. And I just never played it. Yogi Beer, has Alex had a drink of water? Am I blind? Fun fact, Yogi Beer, about 20 minutes into this live stream, I forgot that I did not grab my drink of water. I have been managing it just fine. The live stream cutting out for a minute and giving me a second to breathe was helpful, but I have been managing just fine without the drink of water, although maybe that's why I coughed a few minutes ago. Who knows? Adam Jorgensen, geez, 300. Wow, and my wife complains about my collection. I'd probably be found buried in a mound of boxes if it reaches that level. I have a lot of games. It's been a big part of the hobby. Borgans and Nearmess. Yogi Bear, his speed is amazing. I'd be exhausted for speaking that much for fast on an hour. I just talk fast. I do it. It's all okay. Cat Technoblock, can you name all the parallels between board games and video games? Ooh, interesting that you asked that. I literally have a potential video collaboration that I plan on talking about board games versus video games. There are a lot of parallels. I think it's a fascinating conversation, and I'll be doing a video on that for sure. I'll either be doing it as a collaboration with another channel that I've just been speaking with, or on my own, but it's certainly a conversation I want to have. Corey Christensen, have you played much Tainted Grail yet? Not yet. Okay, let me try to scroll through this. Oh, we're catching up with final questions. We're all caught up. Okay, we're going to probably catch up and then end the stream. Okay, Yuri Goldsmith, before you buy Before you buy, give me an amazing review on the game value, not experience. But when a substance reviews a game, those situations are very different by 3-player games experience. I'm not sure I understand fully the comment. It sounds like you don't want the review. I'm not entirely sure how you're phrasing that last sentence. John Oliver, how much do you estimate your collection to be worth? I mean, 15,000 maybe. I'd have to think. I mean, let's see. Average game. Let's just go 300 games. Let's say 300 games times $40 a game would be 12K. Now I have games that are going to be Sprawlopolis, which are or Friday for like $8, but I also have games that are Tainted Grail that it's like $300. So let's call it a $60 average times 30. I'd say yeah, around 20K. It's off the cuff. I'm not going through a number. I'd say roughly my collection is probably in the range of 20K. Okay. Yogi Bear, he's torturing himself for our benefit. It's not torture. I need the drinks of water, but it's not torture. Jonathan D, Oathsworn or Stormsender? Oathsworn, because in general, I will almost always prioritize a game I have played and liked over a game that I haven't played and think I will like. Bird in the hand versus Two in the bush. You gotta live your life that way. So I played Oathsworn and I like it, and I'm excited about Stormsender. So Oathsworn is going to win there. Let's see. JJ the Great collaborating in the board game versus video games with Rado. I mean, I'm down if he wants to, but it's somebody else I was talking to about, so we'll see. Aaron, the question of mine you missed. I'm a sculptor for theme parks, moving into minis. I need practice digital sculpts. Any requests of what you want me to sculpt? Ooh, what game do I have that could use sculpts? Ooh, this is a fun one. Looking around my shelves, what game do I have? Ooh, Spirit Island. I want awesome miniatures and awesome houses for Spirit Island. I hate the components in one of my favorite games of all time. So if you want to sculpt things, I will pay you for them. Like you design some better miniatures for Spirit Island. I will happily pay you for them. And there will be a host of people who will buy your PDF file, whatever it is. That game needs a solid upgrade pack for those miniatures. But that's basically it. Zach D, looks like you're almost at 20K. What will you do, or will you wait till you pass Quacklope? Quacklope will be around, I want to say it'll be in around a year and a half, but he does have plans to step up his game. He's doing a whole bunch of plans in the work. Basically, I'm like, we have this constant back and forth going on about passing each other and going whatnot. So if I do pass him, it just means there'll be history to try to pass me. Angel Alita, are you getting Solomon Kane? Will you play it with Jesse? I'd love to play it with Jesse. Ooh, that's a good idea. Let me see if I can do that. I am not currently getting Solomon Kane. That was on Kickstarter before I was aware of Mythic or followed Mythic. Okay, Warner Collection. I have taken my collection in my 2K car, and those that know me have pointed out I will regret more of my games in the car, and they are right. I think I understood that. And that looks like the last comment. So, thank you everyone for being here. Basically as usual, this is fun. I enjoy these. I do these. I try for like once every 3-4 weeks, but we'll see how they go. This next week's gonna be fun. I have Cracklow coming in. We're gonna be doing a bunch of content together. We're gonna be doing Kingdom Rush Elemental Uprising. We're gonna be doing Bloodstone probably. Whole bunch of games. By the way, Bloodstone, excellent. Check that one out. I love Super Fantasy Brawl. Bloodstone might end up being better. I'm intrigued to see how that actually goes, but we'll have to see. Lots of games, lots of time, lots of fun. And as always, and until next time, have a good one.